Hey, welcome back to Real Talk with Heather and Andres, the podcast where we say the quiet things, quiet parts out loud about real estate business and the situation nobody wants you about. All while we are live streaming, so there's no edits.
And you guys, this isn't coaching from a stage or highlight reels from social medias. This is real stories that impact real people about money, small businesses, and entrepreneurs.
Man, did I messed up on this intro, didn't I?
I
So, oh my goodness.
think we both did. It's okay. It's been a long week. Allergies are killing everybody. We've had Wi-Fi issues. It's everybody's internet's acting crazy. So it
It's
is
just
what
a little bit of everything going on, right? So, well, hey, today's a special show because we have the pleasure of interviewing somebody that is very dearly close to me. But today, it's all about business and and her push forward to getting started the three strands catering business. We have the pleasure to interview one of the co-owners to see what the journey has been as an entrepreneur. It could be a scary process, a scary moment for all of us. And we had the pleasure to interviewing her today and see how that journey is going for them. So, Adriana, thank you for taking the time to be in here today and allowing us to learn a little bit about your story and your journey as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Um, Thank you for the intro.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So, can't wait to dive in and learn more about what's going on in your world and in business. So,
Yeah.
anything you want to add, Heather?
I just wanted to say, like, before we jump in and get started, to back up a little bit and talk about like where this came from. Like, I'm not good at cooking, so like this would never be something that I could do. So has this always been something that you love doing, or something that was like, is there a history with what led to the catering business and cooking for you?
Yeah, so me and my husband own this business, and honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I cannot cook. I am not good at cooking. You put me in the kitchen, I could probably do it if I follow directions, but the love for cooking, I don't have it as much as he does. He is so beyond passionate for cooking, and I want to say about a year before we fully like went into our business, we had I had this idea, I had this feeling that we were going to start a business, and it was going to be something in event planning or like the party events type of world. And my car had broken down and we were looking for a new car, and I'm like, like the car that I get, I want it to be able to support that, like that business idea that we have but we don't really have. Like, I know it's going to happen, but whatever car we get, we need to have to be able to pull something, right? So I ended up getting a Toyota Highlander, and that Toyota Highlanders, they could pull as much as a truck, supposedly, is what the car dealership told us. So I was like, okay, cool, great. Like, we'll be able to put a tow hitch on it. We could do everything that we want to do in this car. And after we got the car, that was kind of like it for that time. A year passed, and there was this during that year, there was this growing desire within my husband that he had, that honestly that the Lord really placed in him, really encouraged him in. He loves to cook. He's been cooking since he was 15. We worked at a bar and grill, and he was a line cook. And he's ever since then just been cooking and growing. As we've grown, we've told him like, oh, you need to go into culinary school. You really need to like push in on this. And he's just kind of been like, oh, I like it, but like, I don't know. And one day he just told me, like, you could tell that fire within him for it started to grow. And he told me that he felt that we should start a catering business. And I'm the type of wife where I'm like, okay, whatever you want to do, I'm going to support you 100%. I will be there to support you in everything that we do. And when he told me that, I was like, all right, well, let me look into this. Like, let's see and let's pray about this. Let's make sure this is, something that the Lord really wants us to step into. Let's look into it. And I started to really I started looking into it, and as I'm looking into this, I'm thinking to myself like, "Oh my gosh, he's never actually wanted to start something before." So for him to say, "Hey, this is something that I think we should really get into. I really want to do this." It was really big for me. And I had to learn a lot too of okay, to be that supportive wife and to follow his lead in it. So it was a lot of me just trusting that, that the Lord was guiding us. And when we started looking into everything that we would need to start the business, little by little, the Lord was confirming along the way. He would speak through people for us. There was somebody that came up to us and was like, "Hey, I don't know why, but I feel like the Lord's telling me to tell you that business idea that you guys have, go and start it." And we had at this point not told anybody. We hadn't talked to anybody about it. Like it was a conversation just between me and him and the Lord. And he came and he just confirmed it for us. So yeah, so that's
That's
kind of where it started. It started really with him and that desire within him to want to do this. And me and him both have this heart to serve people. That's where I feel like my part plays in a lot. Is just this heart to want to serve people, to want to help, that hospitality. And it really grew when we were in church too, because he would serve and he'd grill burgers for the young adults group there. And that desire to want to serve people is just it's so beautiful. And now that we get to really show that in our business, I think that's even more beautiful. So yeah, that's where it started.
that's one of the questions I was gonna follow up with is
Mhm.
in what moment where do you realize that it was more than just food?
Yeah, I think when we learned it was more than just food was when we were serving in church, because when we were serving we were also simultaneously doing our business at the same time. And it doesn't even yeah, we have to get paid, right? We get paid, we gotta money's involved in it because it's a business. But I feel like at the end of the day for us, just to see the smile on people's face, to hear them say oh, this is really good, or wow, how do you do this? And I think that was really the turning point for him and for me, was seeing just the smile on people's faces at church when we would serve them. And it eventually translated from being just at church to being out in our community and seeing people's feedback and seeing how when they interact with us, they feel less stress, they feel happy, they feel joy, they feel that the food that they're eating is just great, and you just see that joy on their face. It is so rewarding. And that, I think, is when it hit me of oh, this is more than just food. This is more than that. And I think that was always the plan from the beginning, because when God places a business idea in your heart, it's never about business, but more about the love that you show people and the love that you have for people, not hospitality. And it's that Jesus love, essentially, right? When people interact with us, I want them to feel just the love that God has for them, and want them to feel important and seen. And yeah.
You walk right into the next question is what do you hope people walk away from being part of that, from being served by you guys?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? You cut out a little bit.
What do you hope people walk away feeling
Oh.
from the food that they're getting from you guys, from the interaction?
I think you said, what do you hope people walk away with?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that they honestly just walk away with an interaction that they remember, right? This interaction of like not only did they serve great food, but they were just so kind, they were so sweet, and I could just feel the joy. I want them to feel joy. I want them to feel happiness. I mean, everybody's going through different parts of life. We don't know what one person's going through, but when they experience our business and they experience our food and our hospitality, I want them to walk away feeling loved, feeling seen. And it's so like I feel like some people would ask like, well, how could you do that when you're serving food? Well, we just had an event recently, and somebody was sharing with me like their story, their testimony of how they were in the music industry and the his marriage, and just being there and listening and being that person for him to share that and creating that space for him to share that story while he's eating great food. That's what I want. I want people to be like, oh, those were great people that we encountered, and I want them to feel that love, just that love of Jesus, honestly.
And it's those little moments that make a huge impact in people's life. Like you don't realize when you're in those moments necessarily how much of an impact that they could have on somebody's day that then could totally change the trajectory of their, entire life because of how that one impact, impacted them in that moment. And I have no doubt that they definitely feel something from you because as you're talking, you're so passionate about what you guys do and you have this like glow around you. And it just like as the more you talk, the more like I don't know, like beaming almost. It's like beaming out of you. So I definitely know that if I can feel that, over the internet that keeps going in and out as we're trying to do the podcast, I can definitely tell that if you're in person with you, it's got to be so much more intense and so much brighter in person. So I definitely you're you're reaching people and your ministry is amazing.
Hmm.
It
Yes,
is. She
thank
has this
you.
great energy to her. It's crazy. So, if
Thank
someone would describe three caterings they experience with three strings catering in one word, what will it be?
you. Cut out again. Could you repeat that?
If someone were to describe their experience with three strings catering in one word, what will it be?
Ooh, okay. If they were to describe it in one word. Oh my gosh, this is hard. I feel like they were to describe it in one word. I think the word, oh my gosh, there's like so many words that I want to use. I want to say, I want to say easy. I'll go with that word, easy, because my goal is to also make the experience easy for the person. I've been on both sides, so I'm on the side of the business and providing a service. But before, I also used to be on the other side of it, of inquiring for service, and it can get very difficult, I feel like, and frustrating sometimes as somebody who's looking for a caterer for whatever event that they're planning. So I'd hope that the person describing would say, oh, they were easy, they were easy to work with, and it was not as much of a headache as maybe other caterers would.
That's a good way to put it. I see that. I've seen that. I've experienced that myself. But just from what I hear and what I know from you guys, I think love, and you mentioned it several times earlier already.
Mhm.
Love is one word that comes to mind when describing the type of service that they're getting from you guys, because it's not just in the way you guys communicate, the way you guys put everything together, but it gets passed down through the food that you're serving people. Every
Yeah.
step of the way, you're giving everybody that come across your way a lot of love, and you can feel that in every aspect of the word. Just like Heather said, you feel the energy pull you towards you, gravitate towards you, and you can't deny that. It's there, always consistently reminding people that first and foremost they're getting love from you, the people around you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I wanted to go back into how everything started, but you already dove into that. And if I can remember correctly, I know there was a point, and maybe it was a year and a half, 2 years ago. This is before you even get started. That you mentioned to me once. I think I saw myself in a catering business, and I was like, "What? What do you mean a catering business? You don't cook. Like I know you. You don't cook. I know Diego cook. I know your husband cooks. But that idea, I was really surprised, and I want you, if we can bring some of that up now, because that, like you said, that is groundbreaking because that idea came out of nowhere, and here you are 2 years later with the catering business when you yourself didn't believe that was part of what you saw in the future. So can you tell a little bit about that story and how that came up into fruition today, right?
Yeah. So we, like I said, before we actually started, it was a whole year before where I was going through a transition with my job. I had just accepted a new offer at a different job, and I was really starting to grow in my walk with God. And there was one day where one of my sisters in Christ was praying over me, and I was like, yeah, like I just need prayer for this new job, We're stepping into this new season. I just had my daughter, and she was praying over me, and she was saying like, I feel the Lord telling me that you are going to be doing things in with events, like catering. She's like, I see catering. And I was like, catering? I'm like, are you sure? I was like, maybe my mom, maybe someone else, not me. I cannot cook. No, no, not me. I think you got it wrong. I was like, maybe at the new job that I'm doing. And she's like, no, no, no. Like, I feel it for sure. The Lord telling me that it's going to be you and your husband, and it's going to be something in catering. And I was like, okay, that's so odd. But okay, whatever. And I kind of just was like, it was there. It was there in the back of my mind, but it wasn't like something that I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm holding on to this. This is what I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to do." And I remember sharing it with you and my mom and really just telling you guys like, "Hey, I think they're talking about you because that's definitely not me. I cannot cook. Like, no, that's not me." And it was weird because once I put it in the back of my mind, I just kind of went on, right? Went on with life and was like, okay, whatever, just doing life. And the job that I had, I actually I got hired for one thing and ended up doing a whole different other thing in that company. And it was over revolving around event planning, contacting caterers, and setting up their events, their annual meetings, their holiday party. And I was like the main person for those things. And in there, that's when I realized, like, wait, I actually really like this. Like, I like doing these types of events. I like, reaching out to different caterers, and I love the business aspect of this. And then when my husband came to me and said, "Hey, I think I want to do this," it all just fell into place. So it was something that I definitely did not, have like, how do I say that? I definitely not something that I was thinking about beforehand. It really was brought on by the Lord and confirmed by Him, and every step of the way, he says he never leaves nor forsake us. And he made sure to prepare me every step along the way and everything that I did, right? The job that I had, I learned about contracts. I was learning different things about finance and like the finance aspect of it. And it prepared me to be where I'm at today. It's both of us, for us to be where we're at today. So I think, yeah, it was definitely when we told you guys that we were doing it, I was scared. I was honestly scared to tell people because it's putting full trust in the Lord and something that we've never done before. We've never had any experience in starting a business. Like that's something that you have to have in God for, and just hoping that He's gonna carry us along the way. And He always does. He always carries us. And yeah,
No,
it was. I remember that conversation I had with you guys.
it was very interesting, and it's one of the things that I want to bring up, the fears and doubts, because sometimes we get these ideas in place, and the first thing that we
Mm,
start thinking of is the fear. We put a lot of doubt. I always say that the biggest obstacle in front of us is the person in the mirror, because we're going to
right.
create all these fears. We're going to create all these barriers that are not there, that we don't want to push through. And you found yourself, things didn't make sense, but you went along with it. You kept pushing. You found yourself in a job that was preparing you for things that were yet to come. What were some of the biggest fears before launching that you saw for yourself?
Oh man, I think the biggest one that I really experienced was not being qualified, feeling that I wasn't qualified for it. And I think that's something that I've dealt with in other areas of my life as well. It's like, I'm not qualified for this. I'm not. But the Lord doesn't
Qualify
call the
for what?
qual.
If you can break that down.
Yeah, qualified for running a business and being the boss of something, right? And like I'm like, okay, I don't have the qualifications to run something, to be the person that, okay, when everything's kind of going wrong, like I'm the person that has to answer. Like I'm used to going to someone and be like, "Hey, like this is what's going on." And then they have the answers. Now it's shifted, and now that's on me. That responsibility is on me and my husband. And I for a long time was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not qualified for this. Like how? Like I have no yes, I have, this experience here, but like I don't have the qualifications to do this." And that was something I struggled with, and the Lord had to remind me that he does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And as long as I stayed with my focus on him and was obedient and doing what he's called us to do, he was going to provide everything. And that's something that he still reminds me of to this day. And I think will continue to remind me as we get deeper and as we grow and as we, expand.
Yeah.
It's he's gonna continue to remind me. But yeah, that was one of my biggest fears was not being able to live up to the role of a business owner. But here I am. Here we are.
You definitely are doing well. Was there a point where you thought this might not work? Where you looked around,
Which,
and was there a point that you thought that it might not work?
could you repeat the question?
Was there a point throughout that you thought it was not going to work?
Yes. I think this is something that maybe was a little bit more recent. We just had our third kid. We just had our third baby. And we have a 6-year old, or soon to be 6-year old, soon to be 3-year old, and then now we have our 3-month old. And when I had him, I was like, oh my gosh, like our hands are full. We have 3 kids. We're trying to adjust to this new life with a third baby, and it's like it's a lot. And I for a second was sitting there just thinking like there's no way this is going to work out. Like, we can't do this. But again, like, just leaning in with God, and He had to remind me, no, like, I don't give you something and not provide for you. I'm going to provide for you. I'm going to provide the people to watch the babies. I'm going to provide the customers. I'm going to provide the ideas. Like, don't worry. Like, have faith in me. So, yeah, I guess we're kind of still walking in it too. Of like, okay, like I'm trusting in you, Lord. I'm trusting in you. I know you want us to serve your people, and that is where my heart is at, to serve your people. So here I am. I'm showing up. I'm showing up and just trusting that everything else is going to fall into place the way that it's supposed to. So yeah, that's a big one though. Three babies, and here we are.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, and you have such an amazing attitude about it too, because a lot of people would have a bunch of excuses as to why they couldn't do it. Oh, I've got, 3 little babies. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. It's too much. But you seem like you're balancing it fabulously and doing a great job. Did you have people either in the community or in the church that wanted to, and this is always kind of like a hard thing to face, because I had to experience this before, have people that like wanted to bring you down or were like negative energy? Did you experience that? And if you did, how did you kind of overcome that? Because that's hard to deal with.
Yeah, I think I'll say that sometimes, like, they won't say it. And you just know. You're just like, I feel it. I kind of feel it from you. So I don't think we've ever had somebody like come out and told us like, hey, like this isn't, you shouldn't do this or that, kind of give us an attitude about it. But I think I felt it more of like, okay, I feel that you're supporting us. You're saying that you're supporting us, but your body language is kind of saying something else. So when I feel that, I always tell my husband, like, hey, I don't know, I feel something's off about this person. And we kind of back off. We won't say what we're doing until we've already started doing it. Like, that's one of our biggest thing. I always tell him like, okay, let's not tell anyone. Let's keep this between me, you, and the Lord. And that's actually one of my favorite things to do, is like keeping any ideas just between me, him, and God. And until we are like fully walking in it, then that's when we tell people. Because once you're at that point, like at that point, it's like, what are you gonna do to tell me to talk me out of it? Like we're already in
Yeah.
this. So yeah, we've never really experienced like any specific situation like that, but we have experienced where I feel like there's, somebody that maybe isn't as supportive as they say they are. But that's how I handle it. I really just, we try to keep everything that we're going to do to ourselves until we fully started doing it. And I like it. I like doing it that way because it's fun. It's also like, oh my gosh, like we're cooking up this beautiful thing that we're going to do. And it's like, oh, there's so much excitement behind it. And there's so much just joy behind it. And then when it finally gets released, it's like, oh my gosh, yes, like here we are. Yes, show. And like, you're so excited and you don't have those other voices coming in and telling you, any negative things. Yeah.
Nice. That's the way to do it. People always, people that are not pushing themselves to grow and be
Yeah.
better are always looking for ways to bring other people down to their level.
And
And
sometimes
best way
people,
to focus on you on what you're doing and allow them to see for themselves that you are ahead of them. You're ahead of the game. And that's naturally happens.
and I think sometimes people do it without even realizing that they do it. Because I know
Yeah.
I've been that person where I didn't even realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm being so negative. And I've had to apologize of, like, I am so sorry. I'm being so negative right now. Like, let me take a step back here. Because, I think naturally, sometimes our brains just goes into like this everything that's going to go wrong type of thing. Like, okay, like, are you sure? Like, and it's like, how about we think of everything that's going to go right? And like, oh, but like, what, I don't know if you guys have seen this one guy. His name is Giuliano Massarelli, I think is his name. And he sells life insurances, and he will cold call people, and he will just give it his all in the like 10 seconds that he has before they hang up. And they hang up, and instead of him being like super down about it, he's just like, yeah, let's go, and he goes on to the next call. And that's exactly like the mood that I want to have, of like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. What if it does work out? What if you do get that client? What if you do this? Like, yes, let's do it. What if it works? So, and I think that's what people also do. don't realize is like they get stuck in this like, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't work out? It's like, no,
Mhm.
what if it does? And like just imagine all the possibilities that the Lord could do, with your business, like all this business stuff that you could do, all of the people that you could reach, all the people that could just see, what you have to offer. So we have to have that like positive attitude towards it, because if not, it could get pretty down.
Get pretty down and lonely.
Yeah.
So keep that positive attitude. I want to get now to the middle of the pie, right? How was your first event? How was that? Can you walk us through those first events?
Oh man, yes. So our first events were with Walmart. Well, hold on. Let me bring it back a little bit. Our very very first event was a family event, and it was a family reunion, and it was for, I think it was like 75 people, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was 50 to 70 people. Um, and we were so like we thought we had planned everything out. We thought we had thought of everything, but we were so wrong, okay? Adriana over here wanted to make handmade tortillas, and my husband was like, "No, like I don't think we should do that. Like this is our first event. Look how many people." And I'm like, "No, we can do this. Like how hard can it be?" I had practiced a little bit beforehand. I'm like, "Yeah, I got this." Where was I wrong? I should have just listened to my husband, because when it came time to do everything, we had our grill was not working because the wind was blowing. We didn't have any wind guards on our grill. We didn't plan for that. And so as he's trying to cook the meat, the wind is working against him and the meat was not cooking. And it wasn't cooking fast. And if it was cooking, it wasn't cooking fast enough. And then we had me over here trying to make tortillas, and for some reason, like, everything I had practiced beforehand just went out the door, and I was sitting here, like, trying. We had family, like, 2 different family members jump in, trying to help us. It was a hot mess express, I will say. Like, it was one of those events where you think about and you just cringe. You're just like, "Ooh," a lot of learning that came from it, though. We learned that,
Much
okay,
needed,
wait,
right?
oh yeah, much needed, much needed, and I'm so thankful too that it was, like, with family, because if it would have been with somebody that we didn't know, they would not have been as gracious, I feel like, on us the way the family was. But yeah, we learned a lot, and I think that first event also kind of made us think like, "Okay, like that we need to be better prepared next time." And it helped us grow. It really catapulted us from one spot to the next in growth, and we were we were more prepared for the next couple events that we had, that we also learned a lot from. We had a event with Walmart. We got hired by two different Walmarts. I think it was three different Walmarts, one in San Marcos and then two more locally. And it was a learning experience, because it wasn't just one event out two. So we served for 2 hours. It wasn't like we were serving for 2 hours for one event. It was shifts. So we were serving like three different shifts for one Walmart. And we learned that, yeah, that's a little harder than it sounds. And there was like one Walmart where we really just were like, oh my gosh, like we felt bad. We were like, oh, but they were so gracious, thankfully too, that they were just so understanding, and they were so caring, and that was very very helpful for us, because they knew we were like starting out. And I think at the time too, I was pregnant. I was like 8 months pregnant, over here lugging around like tables and stuff. So yeah, we learned a lot from those. There was a lot of things that, we forgot, or things that like we were rushing. We learned better time management from those events. Um, Being prepared
Nice.
for things that could go wrong. So yeah, it was a lot of growth with those events. We look back at them and we just kind of cringe. You're like, oh, Oh no, don't remind me.
Everybody has to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what, growth is. It's learning, it's learning what works, learning what doesn't work. And there's no better way to do that than literally on the job, because you can train for something all you want, but until you actually walk those steps and put them in practice, you're not going to have that full idea. So if you're going to fall or you're going to fail forward. Don't fail back.
Yeah.
Fail forward.
Yes.
Take the loss and be like, okay, this is what I learned from it. Let me implement this, and next time it'll be better. And I don't ever really look at something as a total loss. I try really hard to say, okay, so this didn't go the way I wanted. I want to get upset and cry about it for 5-10 minutes,
Yeah.
2 days, 3 days, who knows, and then learn from that, move on. And so, even though they didn't go as you planned, like with the tortillas, and you're like trying to do it, and you're like, what is going on? And the stress of the situation too, I'm sure, made it even harder to try to remember how to do it. But I mean, you guys got through it, and now you know.
I was
Yeah. I think too, people can get stuck in the like, oh my gosh, like that didn't work out. Like I don't ever want to do that again. And it's so hard, but you have to like push through that. And you, like you said, you have to fail forward, not fail backwards, because these are just they're growing pains. They're growing pains that everyone has to go through.
I was looking for it. There's a book that's called actually Fail Forward. Um, Recommended to read it.
Yeah, didn't you
Also,
guys make that up? Damn.
no, I was looking because I thought I had it. So I was looking here for a second, and I'm like, hold on, I had it in my hand, and I'm looking for it here. I have one that is, always forward, but I must have it somewhere here, which is Fail Forward. Um, but what's something that you realize about catering? What's something about catering people don't realize into you're in it?
Mm. Something that most people don't realize is how much prep goes into an event. It could be like for 40 people, it could be for 50, it could be for 100. There's so much prep behind the scenes that go into it, and so many different things also like business wise they go into it. I think a lot of people here in San Diego, especially, we're right by the border, but there's a lot of people who have catering businesses but aren't legally operating, which for us it's kind of like frustrating because we take the right channels, right? We pay the taxes to own a legitimate business, and to see other people kind of not take the same channels, it's kind of like, dang, like it makes you want to do the same thing, but you have to remind yourself like to do things the right way. And there's a lot that goes into owning a business, and there's a lot of planning that needs to be done. And again, like how I said, the prepping before an event, like my husband puts a lot of love into everything he creates, and he makes things from scratch. So he's not giving you horchata that's from a bottle. Like he makes the horchata from scratch, soaking the rice, making sure that all the ingredients are literally from scratch as much as possible. And he puts a lot of love and thought into it. And so I think that's where he shines the most. And then I'll shine more on the side of like the business part of it. It is such a beautiful like balance that we have in the business. But yeah, a lot of prep goes into events, and it's sometimes it's not as easy as just, oh, let me pick up my grill and like get some meat and go. We want to make sure that everything tastes great, and that everything we have the right portions, and that each customer is getting, what they've asked for, and more, getting what they've asked for and more, with the love and the joy that we give. So yeah.
What helps you along those lines? What helps you? What steps do you take to prepare for each event to make sure that everything's in order, everything's loaded, everything's is ready to go for that particular event?
Yeah,
Do you have a
so I
specific routine way to do it?
Yeah, I so we have different parts. So I do a lot of checklists. Checklists are literally like my lifesaver, because I got mom brain. I forget things, and then we have like we'll be like, oh yeah, did you get that? Or make sure you get that, and then we get there and we're like, wait, I thought you were supposed to get that. So I have checklists for everything, and I mean like down to literally or my freaking like hydro flask. Like I make sure that we have everything on our checklist, and as we're going, I am literally checking things off, even down to a checklist for stuff that we have to buy beforehand. The day before is when Diego, or 2 days before is when Diego goes to buy everything, and he takes our son with him. It's such a great learning experience for our son. Our son's been so curious about the business and has been wanting to be more involved. So it's a great time for them to go. But oh, there we go. I like that. I need to read that one. I
You
gotta
have
add
a
it.
library over there. He just keeps pulling down books.
I'm telling you. Yeah, so
I love that. You gotta send me that. I need to add that to my list.
sorry for that interruption.
Oh, no, you're good. But yeah, checklists. So checklists are literally my lifesaver. When we're going to the store, when day of the event, yeah, those checklists will help you keep everything in order. And even with our checklists, like just yesterday we had an event, or 2 days ago we had an event, and I'm like, oh, like I didn't think of my husband's grill being like the pieces that you can take off of it that could be forgotten. So now I got to go and update my checklist to make sure we are including those pieces that could come off because we forgot a big piece that should not have been forgotten.
See? So there's always room for finding
Oh yeah.
little details that are essential that the checklist manifesto will help you put together and ensure you don't miss
Yeah.
them. So that's great. And those little details are so important. Like it may sound simple, but it yet is so relevant and so big in what comes out of it because that simple checklist that you can go through
Yeah.
and check off everything as you load them up and get ready. It is a very important component in the whole process. Trust me, you're talking to
Yeah.
someone that forget a lot of things and remember the things that I should not remember. So, so yeah, that's definitely a big one there. No, that's good. And what would you tell someone that's looking to get into the business of catering or business in general, from your experience starting from scratch and now running a business, what would you tell someone that's looking into starting their own business?
I would tell someone to take their time. There's no rush. I feel like that's the culture, right? It's like go 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 and like moving on to the next thing, but there's so much beauty in just taking your time and really having the Lord lead it. Our name, Three Strands Catering, came about because three strands represents me, my husband, the business, and God. And so when we have the Lord in everything that we do and He's leading it, that is where it's at. Him leading, us following, and really just taking our time with it. So I guess that's my biggest piece of advice to anybody starting any kind of business is take your time and make sure that the Lord's involved in it because when He's involved, like He provides everything, the knowledge that you need, the resources that you need, the customers, the clients, like He's there. If His hand's in it, He's going to provide. And yeah, that's my biggest advice is taking your time and letting the Lord lead you.
Absolutely. And on hard days, what's one before we get there? What's one mistake you would let them know to avoid?
To avoid on hard you said on hard days?
No, no. In general, anyone starting a business, what's one mistake you tell them to avoid?
Ooh, okay. One mistake to avoid. I would say, ooh, I'm thinking of all my mistakes and I'm like, dang, that's a good one. um, I would say one mistake is jumping into something before you fully research it because you can lose a lot of money. When you're starting a business, especially if it's a legit business where you're needing to get permits and needing to get licenses, make sure you research really good and make sure you have a good understanding of what needs to be done before you just jump into it and start purchasing whatever you think is the right thing to purchase. Um, yeah, I think that would be my thing is like make sure you research.
Nice. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, and let's get into your personal connection. When you're having a hard day, things are not looking the best. How do you stay motivated? How do you keep pushing yourself and your husband to push through and go through the events and get set up? What's your mindset?
Yeah. I would say one of the biggest things that I've learned in this season is really having that communication with my husband and letting him know like, "Hey, I'm not feeling the greatest today." Like I don't know, like, after having a kid, sometimes, when your hormones just all over the place and you're trying to get a new rhythm, sometimes I'm not feeling the greatest, but he always reminds me that to not go off of that feeling because that's just a short period of time, and he reminds me of the bigger picture. And he's like, "You know what? If you're not feeling it today, that's okay, but just keep your eyes on God. Keep your eyes on Jesus." And before you know it, once you start, like, I'll even if it's like an event where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like today I woke up just really not feeling it." Once I get there and I'm like interacting with our customers, it goes away, it fades away, and I'm reminded of like why I'm there and what the purpose is. And it just that in itself brings me the joy. And just seeing people's faces, seeing how happy they are when they experience us, that is so joyful. So yeah, when days like that get hard, it's really leaning on my husband and leaning on God, and even though I don't feel great in that moment, just having faith that he's going to bring that joy to us, and it's gonna go away. It's just that short period of time that you feel that and it doesn't last forever. So yeah.
Nice. That's good. And how has this journey changed you as a person?
Could you repeat that question?
How has this journey changed you as a person?
Ooh, it's really grown me. I've really grown in the management part of it. I think that's something I've always known that I've had, like that leadership in me. Um, but somewhere along the way, I got very fearful of being a leader. And again, that fear of like not being qualified. So this has really made me step into being, leadership, because I'm the boss. Like, me and my husband, we're the bosses. There's nobody else, right? So we have no choice to step into that and really have faith in God. My faith in trusting that He's going to provide grown a lot, and just trusting in Him, that's grown a lot. And like, if you would have looked at me maybe 2 years ago before we started, you would have seen like this person that was like scared to really jump into something, and nervous, and like, like, I don't know if I could do it. And now I'm just like, we're just going with the flow, and we're trusting that God's providing, and He gave us this vision, and we're trusting we're gonna have this full faith.
Yes, and you can feel that energy.
Oh
You can
God.
feel it. You're always positive. You're moving forward without fear. And I can see that in you. I can see you just pushing through any obstacle, anything that comes in front of you. You're just going with it and not looking at any problem whatsoever. Just facing what's in front of you, making the best out of it.
Yeah. Like Heather said, there's always something to take, like, there's always a takeaway from every situation. And I like that because it's so true. There's always something, even if it feels like something that went totally just opposite what you thought of, there's always a takeaway, and there's always something positive that you could take from it. And it's very true.
It is, and sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like we look at it, I've faced a number of situations where things happen and they don't make any sense whatsoever, and it could be frustrated. But then a few months down the road, that experience allows me to see what's in front of me totally different, and you
Right.
can reflect back and look and say, now that makes sense why that happened, and how it and why it happened the way it did. Uh, and it's just a matter of sometimes of times and seeing it through before we can make sense of the great thing that we learned from that past experience.
Right.
Uh, and we just
I
got to
wanted
go
to
with it.
circle back to what you said too about the other companies that aren't necessarily on the up and up, and they're not doing things legally. They're not doing things how it's supposed to be done, and you guys are. And it's frustrating to see them, especially if they look like they're being successful. And you're like, this is so frustrating. We're crossing every T, dotting every I, doing everything we're supposed to be doing. And why are they not? And still having that level of success, but you don't see what goes on behind, closed
Right.
doors of a business. And who knows if in, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, are they even still going to be in business, or are all those, shortcuts gonna catch up with them?
Mhm.
And the way I look at it is, if they're willing to shortchange their own business and not do things correctly in their own business, why would they be like, why would they not be shortchanging their customers as well? Like, if they're not treating
Right.
themselves right, they're not going to treat their customers right. So, what you guys have going for you is love, like you said. You've got that, or not, like Andres said, and then easy, because you know that with your customers, it's going to be an easy process because you're doing everything correctly. It's not going to be a hard process for them, like it would probably be with another company that's, doing everything the easy route for them, not for their customers. So it may be easy for them, but it's not going to be easy for their customers.
That's right. I was going to ask
Right.
Lillian, where do you guys see yourself? Where do you see yourself, your business, in 2 years and in 5 years from today?
Oh, in 5 years, my son will be 10 years old or 11. And I think that's one of my biggest thing. I can't wait for him to just start getting his hands in and be more involved. And he is so observant. He's just like always, and this is something that's so beautiful and something that I'm so blessed to have, is to have kids that pray for us. Every time, every night before an event, my son will pray for us. And it's not something that we ask him to do either. He just does on his own. And he's just always praying, like, pray that mama and dada have a good event tomorrow, that everything goes smoothly. And so in 5 years, I hope to see our family, our children more involved in it. And I hope to see them serving people with the heart and love that we serve people. And I also hope to see, potentially, hopefully, a food truck maybe in the mix. I know it's something that's been near and dear to our heart, and we've been kind of looking at it. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. But hopefully, in 5 to 10 years, we'll see that pop up.
10 years. I see it before five. Watch.
Yes, I'm believing it.
I have no doubt with the just how you guys are doing everything you're doing and how you're expressing this. I have no doubt that before you know it, you'll be there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Before we wrap things up, I'm going to ask you like one question and then five other questions to rapid fire. If
Okay.
someone is listening today, right now, and they're scared to start a business, what would you say to them?
I would say, oh my goodness, what would I say? Don't let fear take over. Like, do not let fear take over. Trust in the Lord. One thing that my husband would always tell me in the beginning was, scared money don't make money. Do not be scared to spend money. You're going to have to invest in order to make. And you could either stay in that spot of fear and then in the next 3 months still be in that same spot, or in the next 3 months be in something totally different with a business that has grown. So, yeah.
That's gold. Now, what's the biggest myth about catering?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
The biggest myth about catering.
Could you repeat it one more time?
What is the biggest myth about catering?
Oh, the biggest myth.
I feel like I'm
Um, yeah, I'd say
in the
the
spelling
biggest.
bee.
Can you use the word in a sentence?
So the question was the biggest myth about catering, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. I'd say the biggest myth is that let's see. I'm not quite sure. I would say that it's easy. I think that's yeah, that's one thing that's like it's not as easy as it may seem. At least for me, what I thought was like, oh yeah, it's super simple. Like, pick the grill up, let's go, we'll sit there. There's a lot of planning that goes into it. So it's not as easy, but it's so fruitful and so rewarding.
I love that because you said your one of your main goals and you want people to take away is feeling that it was easy.
Yeah.
But the whole process
Yes.
behind the scene, it is not. So you just conversely want to make everyone feel like it's easy. So great catch. What is one thing people don't see behind the scenes? One thing.
One thing they don't see is all the love and attention that gets put into their events. We're only there for what, like 4 hours, right? 2 hours that we prep and set up, 2 hours that we serve. So they don't see how much love goes into the food that is being created and how much thought goes into the setup. Like I will sit there and think like, okay, like how could I tie my setup into their theme of their event? Like how could I make it feel special and personalized? And I don't think people get to really see that part of us, which hopefully they will, and in the future we'll be able to share that with everyone. But yeah, a lot of love and thought goes into each event that we do.
You were going into one of my next questions. But before that, well, what separates good catering from unforgettable catering?
Ooh, good catering from unforgettable. The experience that you have with the customer, right? So that joy, creating that space where you could have good food, but also that hospitality needs to be there. I've been served by people at events that their food is great, but their attitude and just the way that they interact with you is not. And that's
Yeah,
something that leaves an impression. And I think that's like the last thing you want to do is have this sour face on when you're serving somebody, because then that just what's in the back of their mind of how they experienced you. So, what differentiates between good and great is that interaction that you have with your customers and that love and that joy that they feel from you. You need to be wanting to be there, right? And you need to show that I love doing what I'm doing and not have a sour face with it.
absolutely. Remember that book, Unreasonable Hospitality?
Ah, yes.
See, man, I got a book for everything. That
You
is
do.
incredible book. If you haven't done so, go over that book because he took a restaurant from being outside of the top 50 in the world to being number one in the world because they completely changed the experience of what
Yeah.
people that people were having in the restaurants. Not the food,
That is
but the experience.
literally
So take a look at that.
books are literally like your weapon. Like if I were to put a weapon with Andres like that he always has, it's a book.
Wow. That's good. That's good because that's changed over the past 2 years. I've read or listened to probably 100 and so books, uh, and and I can situations like this. I can connect them because
Yeah.
sometimes you're like, okay, I've seen that, I read that, and it's teaching me a lot based on the books because people are writing these books based on their experiences, right? And we learn from experience
Yeah.
from others, which is on a book or for free. So definitely. And definitely recommend you to go over that book because it's a game changer for a business of catering and hospitality. You want people to have and you're already doing so, an excellent moment experience and make that event unforgettable. And I know you guys, with all the love and the caring that you put into everything that you do, you guys are doing a great job at that.
Thank you.
And if I could ask you one more thing, could you describe your journey so far in one sentence? One sentence.
My journey. Okay. I say our journey has not been linear. There's ups and downs, but we just have the focus of Jesus and everything has just come together so beautifully.
Perfect. This is incredible. So, man, we are just about reaching here at the top of the hour.
I wanted
And
to ask real quick, Andres, before we do our little outro, if somebody wanted to book you for a catering job, what would be the best way to reach you?
It would be to reach us through our website. On there, there's a contact form that the people could fill out and give us a little bit more information. So yeah, that'd be the best way.
And what are your service areas that you guys currently serve?
So we do San Diego and surrounding areas.
And is there a limit on like size or like venue type places? What are the rules and regulations?
Yeah, so we do have a minimum of 40 guests per event. But if you reach out to us, we could work with you.
Awesome. Awesome. And for our listeners and our people that are watching on YouTube or TikTok, we have right here and up at the top of the screen as well a QR code. Just scan that QR code. It'll take you right to their website where you guys can go ahead and have that contact information like he was talking about and book your next catering, not session, what would you, catering event.
absolutely. Man, I can't wait to go there and try the food. So I
Well,
can't
I want
wait.
to, are we going to get the homemade tortillas or extra?
Oh yes, recipe. We're now making the recipe for the masa. Oh, so good. My husband does such a great job.
So there you go, Heather. Next time, for real talk, we're gonna have an event in San Diego. Fly you guys over, and we're gonna have three streams cater their events. So we're gonna make it happen.
I'm counting down the days. I'm gonna put it on the calendar. I'm like, remember you said.
Please, let's put it on the calendar, so we'll make it happen. So, man, Adriana, again, thank you for taking the time to being here with us and sharing your journey so far in the business industry as an entrepreneur, and bringing all the love here with you today, because we definitely feel it throughout the conversation, that energy, that love that you put out there on a daily basis, and especially to the people that you're serving. Thank you for bringing that on here, and thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me the space to be able to share with everyone. I love and appreciate everything that you guys are doing with the podcast. It's awesome. It's amazing.
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. And now we're hungry.
Yes, we are. I am. So, again, if you guys heard the story, let us know what you think. Follow us on the YouTube. Put your comments on the story and let us know what you think. And if this episode made you uncomfortable, fired up, or feel seen, that's good. We want to be here to share stories, connect with one another, and inspire others in the business field.
Yep. Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe. And definitely run over and book your catering event with Three Strands.
Absolutely. If you're in San Diego, you have to use three strings to cater. Definitely. So we'll see you guys next time in the next Real Talk with Heather and Andres.
Bye, guys.